Dear students, hope you are doing well and keeping safe at your respective homes. Also, I do hope that we have already gone through the reading materials which I have provided to you through Google Classroom. So regarding the materials, I have provided to you till now 2 lectures were on introductory economics part and 1 on the demand, and both these 2 lectures were covered while you people were at university and in the classroom itself. And the other 2 topics, that is elasticity of demand part 1 and part 2, these 2 topics were not covered in the classroom, but I have provided you the reading materials. So today I don't want to provide you any more reading materials. However, I would like to discuss few things on the elasticity of demand, this topic part 1. I will cover up till price elasticity of demand, excluding the degrees of price elasticity and the measurement part. And for these 2 topics or 2 parts, please go through my other sessions. So in this session I will cover only up to price elasticity part in the elasticity of demand lecture part 1. So proceeding with the next slide. Okay, elasticity of demand. So by far, since we have covered the demand part in our previous classes, and also we know that what is demand and also the law of demand. Demand means effective desire. This is nothing but desire for a commodity, a particular commodity or service, backed by adequate purchasing power. Effective desire. The desire should have to be backed by adequate purchasing power. So we have already discussed all these things. Next, we have also studied what is law of demand. Law of demand means the quantity demanded of a commodity and the price of that commodity are inversely proportional. That means when there is an increase in price of a particular commodity, there is a simultaneous decrease in the quantity demanded of that commodity. Conversely, we can also say that when there is a decrease in the price of a particular commodity, then there is a consequent increase in the demand of that particular commodity. Now, this is all about law of demand. So this law of demand only suggests the direction in which the demand of a commodity changes with the change in price of that commodity. It doesn't say anything about the magnitude or the degree or the extent by which the demand of a commodity changes with respect to the changes in the price of that particular commodity. So because of which we need to study another concept, that is elasticity of demand. And this concept emerged because of that limitations given by the law of demand. So in the next slides onwards, we will go through the elasticity of demand in details. So as we have discussed till now, the law of demand, it suggests only the inverse relationship between price of a commodity and the quantity demanded. As I said earlier, this law says only about the direction in which quantity of a particular commodity and its price moves. We don't know anything about the extent or the magnitude or the degree by which the quantity of that commodity changes in response to the change in price of that commodity from the law of demand. So because of which another concept named elasticity of demand emerged, and this concept was developed by renowned economist Alfred Marshall. And this concept, elasticity of demand, measures the degree of relationship between quantity of demand changes and the price changes. It measures the responsiveness of the quantity demanded to the changes in price of that particular commodity. So the formal definition of elasticity of demand, we can say that elasticity of demand, which is also abbreviated as ED, E suffix D, is defined as the relative change in the quantity demanded of a commodity to the relative change in the price of that commodity. Here, just observe that we have defined elasticity of demand only in case of the price of that particular commodity for which we are studying the demand, or for which we are considering the demand. We are not considering the changes in quantity demanded in response to the income of the consumer or in response to the price of other related commodity. So actually, whenever we talk about elasticity of demand, normally we talk about price elasticity of demand, keeping all other factors affecting demand as constant. Since other factors of demand could be income of the consumer, prices of related commodities, etc., these things were kept as constant while studying the elasticity of demand. Okay, so normally whenever we talk about the elasticity of demand, we talk about price elasticity of demand. There are different types of elasticity which we will be studying in our next slides, maybe in the another session. So in this session we will talk only about the price elasticity of demand. So in the present slide there are some more definitions or some more discussions of the elasticity of demand, more specifically the price elasticity of demand. So elasticity of demand, this indicates the degree of relation between quantity demanded of a particular commodity and its own price. It indicates the degree of relationship or the degree of responsiveness, amount of responsiveness. Elasticity of demand is the rate at which quantity demanded changes because of changes in each price. We know that whenever there is a change in price, in most of the cases there is some sort of changes in quantity demanded. So in the subsequent slides, when we will be studying different degrees of price elasticity, there we will study about the extent of this demand changing with the changing prices. Say for example, sometimes with a very minute change in price, demand can change abruptly. Sometimes with say infinitely larger changes in price, the changes in demand is quite small. This may happen. So this will be discussed in the subsequent slides, maybe in another session. So this elasticity of demand, ED, measures the degree of responsiveness or the sensitivity of quantity demanded of a commodity in response to the changes in its own price. We are not discussing about changes in income or in response to the changes in price of any other commodity. So this is basically the price elasticity of demand, but normally whenever we refer to the elasticity of demand, we refer to price elasticity of demand. So in the next slide we will see the mathematical formulation of this elasticity of demand, precisely price elasticity of demand. So in a mathematical formulation we can say that if QD equal to F of P, that means when quantity demanded is a function of price, elasticity measures the responsiveness or sensitivity of quantity demanded due to changes in its own price. So a given change in P or price brings about a change in QD, which we already know. So this elasticity measure, it attempts to compare the relative change in quantity demanded with the relative change in price. What is the relative change in quantity demanded because of a relative change in the price of that commodity in relation to the price of that commodity. As I said earlier, there are different types of elasticities of demand, and in the present session we are discussing only the price elasticity of demand. So other two types of elasticities are income elasticity of demand and cross elasticity of demand, for which we will take another session to discuss what is income elasticity and cross elasticity. So today in this session we will complete price elasticity of demand, and in the next session we will again start with different degrees of price elasticity of demand. So in the next slide we will go through the mathematical formulation of price elasticity of demand. So as the definition suggests, price elasticity of demand shows the responsiveness of quantity demanded of a commodity when the price of that particular commodity changes with other factors being constant. That means when we keep other factors affecting demand like income of the consumer, prices of related commodities, etc. as constant, and we study the responsiveness of quantity demanded of a particular commodity with the changes in price of that particular commodity, then we call it as price elasticity of demand. So please try to understand and remember the definition of price elasticity of demand, because the questions on elasticity of demand and its types along with definitions and examples are common in the examination. So in the mathematical formulation, price elasticity of demand is percentage change in quantity demanded to percentage change in price. This is the ratio of price elasticity of demand is the ratio of percentage change in quantity demanded to the percentage change in price. So if we simplify it, in order to compute percentage change in quantity demanded, we will divide changes in quantity demanded divided by initial quantity multiplied by 100, since it is in percentage terms, whole divided by changes in price of that particular commodity divided by initial price of that commodity into 100. So change in quantity demanded will be given by change in quantity between the initial and the final one and divided by initial quantity, and similar is the case with price. Say for example, we are taking into consideration the price of a mango, kg of mango 1 month before and in today's date. We want to know the price elasticity in this time period. So changes in case of percentage change in quantity demanded, first we will take initial quantity as quantity before 1 month and final quantity say today. What is the quantity demanded of or quantity purchased by consumers today of mango? So if we subtract this, if we take the difference, then we will get the change in quantity. And if I divide this change in quantity by initial quantity before 1 month and multiplied by 100, and also if we take the price, changes in price, likewise price before 1 month and today's price, their difference as change in price divided by initial price, price before 1 month multiplied by 100, and if we divide the quantity term by the price term, we will get price elasticity of demand. So in the next slide again we will see what all informations would be required in order to calculate price elasticity of demand. Try to remember this formula. This is again important formula for your examination. So the same mathematical formulation has been depicted in this slide also. Price elasticity of demand, in a simple way you can also define it as percentage change in quantity demanded for the good or service divided by percentage change in its price. Percentage change in quantity demanded, QD is quantity demanded, divided by percentage change in price, and the symbol like E epsilon. This depicts the elasticity value. So the symbol like triangle, this is the change. Okay, so upon simplification we get change in QD divided by Q whole divided by change in P divided by P, and again upon simplification we will get change in quantity demanded QD divided by change in price, that is P multiplied by P by Q, reciprocal. So this is change in QD by change in P is nothing but this is the slope of the demand curve multiplied by P by Q, price by quantity, where change in QD is change in quantity demanded, that is the triangle like symbol is a change in P is change in price, QD is original quantity demanded and P is original price, that is price before 1 month or price quantity demanded before 1 month if we take the previous example. So in the next slide we will go through what all the information we require in order to calculate the price elasticity of demand. So the information which would be requiring for estimation of price elasticity of demand or EP. EP is price elasticity of demand. Original quantity demanded QD1, that means the quantity demanded prior to 1 month. New or change quantity demanded, today's quantity demanded maybe. Original price of the commodity, the price prior to 1 month, the same price of the same commodity. Then new or change price, that means price the price of that commodity today and in today's market. So change in QD or change in quantity demanded would be computed like new quantity demanded minus original quantity demanded. Similarly, change in price would be computed new price and minus original price. Original price would be subtracted from the new price, and for both of these the absolute value would be taken. Now EP is a pure number and does not carry in any unit. It's a pure number, it doesn't have any unit, and mostly this is a negative number. Why? Because quantity demanded varies inversely with price of the commodity in most cases. So till today in this session I would like to cover only this much regarding price elasticity of demand. In the next session we will go through the different degrees of price elasticities of demand, and further in the next session we will complete this lecture by discussing the measurement of price elasticity of demand. So far in this session, if you have any queries regarding elasticity of demand and price elasticity of demand, you are welcome to post your queries in the Google Classroom itself, and I would reply you with the answers. So till then, keep safe and stay safe at your homes. So study well, stay safe at your homes and take care. We will meet again in the next session. Thank you for today.